My name is Alex von Svoboda. I'm the Autodesk Infraworks product specialist for the Northeast of the Americas. And I would like to talk to you today about how our architectural customers can extend BIM from the building to the site. So what we want to show you today is Autodesk is very excited to debut a new product called Infraworks 360 that promotes the next generation of BIM for infrastructure. Autodesk Infraworks 360 is an innovative new technology that really supports the needs of tomorrow. So all of us today, you can see, are already using GIS, CAD, BIM. They're tying in some databases. Some of the file sizes we're working with megabytes in size, but a lot of cases it's just a static view of that data. And more appropriately, it's single users and single experts. The way we see it at Autodesk for tomorrow is really we need to provide a platform that really unifies or brings together all this information of GIS, CAD databases, and accommodate for terabytes of information and make that data dynamic. You know, utilize the power of the web, the explosion of data that's feeding in from the web that we can use and integrate into our designs for simulation and analysis. And of course, get that data out to the right teams to collaborate, and of course the public to provide feedback too. So here's an example of some of our customers already today that is really taking the lead with this technology with Infraworks. Here's the Denver International Airport here, where we're aggregating data that's GIS, imagery, bringing in Revit models and CAD models, and really creating dynamic visual presentations that can win business or explain it to the public. And it doesn't takes us days or weeks. These are the type of things in Infraworks that takes just hours to create. And that's what you're going to see James talk about as pulling all this data together in a few moments. So really where we are is BIM for infrastructure, and what Steve mentioned on it, it's growing. People are starting to adopt it. But it really, from an Autodesk point of view, Infraworks 360 is a completely new platform that is database driven. It's something that's going to allow our customers to utilize a BIM workflow through planning, design, build, and right into manage. So we're harnessing the power of the cloud, mobile devices, and some of the social media outlets that we can do to broadcast and promote collaboration and interaction. So this is what it looks like. So Infraworks can run on a desktop, or you can really use the power of Infraworks if it's running in the cloud. If it's running in the cloud, you've got the power of aggregating large data sets together, and more importantly, collaborating, coordinating with others on the team here. But you can scale all types of data here. So you can do things like cities and even the state of California. But also get that information out to many different form factors, whether people customers are using it, need to see or provide feedback, and they just need a URL in a web application, or they're using iPads. But also, too, what's more importantly is with Infraworks, we're providing these new tools that in the past was very expensive to utilize or do simulation if you could do it on a desktop itself. With the cloud, we have the power of those processors that can do things like optimization and simulation of your models, and really do the what-ifs and allow you to do the design earlier in the stages of planning. But of course, you can control who gets to see it or what they can do with these models here. So let's start off here first with showing you how to build all this. So our customers today are finding information, they're pulling it in from the web, whether that's imagery, whether that's CAD data, BIM data, and building it together, and we're seeing that. So in this example here, and James will go in a little deeper dive on this later, you can see how we have tools in Infraworks to make that process of getting that data very easy. Here's an example of Albuquerque here, and you can kind of see the area we want to work on. And there's a little bit of a mountain range to the right of it. But we just want to focus on this area. We want to pull in, say, elevation information, imagery, roads and highways and buildings, and find that and bring it all together and, just create a whole model for us in 3D. So you can see on the left, we're aggregating all this information very readily to produce a real model in no time at all. So this is the type of information you can create. And within speed, we're talking about here, 15, 20 minutes of getting this data, putting it all together, and giving you a model like this. So our customers are starting to use this. You don't have to be a 3D Studio Max expert to pull this all together. So you can really create some compelling customer presentations, like here's a water treatment plant that we want to show the design to some stakeholders that might be concerned of what it looks like, because everybody's got an issue, not in my backyard. But wouldn't it be powerful to be able to go to a town hall meeting or a customer or even an owner site and show them exactly what it looks like and not have to come back weeks or months later with a variety set of drawings based on questions that came up in the meeting. Show it real time at the right place. So some of our customers are creating some fantastic city models. So here we're actually working with the Chicago Transit Authority, and we've been able to create the city of Chicago in a day. So pulling in or letting Infraworks build the model like this, but also pulling in some iconic buildings here too, former Sears Tower, Soldier Field. These are the things you can aggregate together very quickly and easily here. Another great example, and an early adopter of Infraworks, is the city of Vancouver, who wants to be the greenest city in the world by 2020, but has taken the information where they had GIS information that had building type information, had information about heights, and actually went out and flown the city and got LiDAR data, brought that in to get things like roof slopes. And they were they quickly built a whole city model like this that they could start attaching things like metadata. What is the building? What does it do? Maybe links to emergency floor plans or whatever, but really have a dynamic living and breathing data model. Once they have that, they could start doing some analysis, and you can do that in Infraworks, whether it's elevation analysis or slope analysis or different theming here based on different building types or use. Or line of sight. We have a situation where a developer is proposing a new building in a certain area. Who would see that building or that new development? We could do that kind of analysis. Or more importantly, what they like is the what ifs. What if we did have a superstorm Sandy or a 100-year flood? Where would that extend to, and how would that impact our community? So emergency management is very big for them. But with Infraworks, as I said earlier, you can create these models very quickly and easily. You can see the renderings here of high fidelity. You can do what-if analysis, like I'm building this new bridge or road here. What does it look like at 5 o'clock at night as I'm driving? Is the sun in my eyes? Is it a clear day? Is it a cloudy day? We can modify those things and take a model like this right to a public presentation. But from an architectural standpoint, too, it's a very powerful tool. We're already seeing a number of architects using it for site development or land development. In fact, we're seeing some campus planning, master planning being used with Infraworks. So here's an example here of a proposed hospital site where we've got the Infraworks city model, and maybe we can take out the buildings that would be demolished here, and we're looking at a proposed building here of this hospital that is going to be on one side of the center here of the street and then a parking lot on the other. We could take that Revit model and bring that right into Infraworks. Now, the capability of Infraworks doesn't care what type of data it is, BIM data, Revit, from Civil 3D or whatever. We're aggregating this data so we can utilize it and view it from any different angle, even go inside of it, and we're still in Infraworks to actually do this. The other powerful part here of Infraworks is to be able to communicate these new designs or thoughts to the public. So what you can see here is a storyboarding tool in Infraworks to quickly create storyboard visualization where we can, once again, if we're in a meeting with a client, we're in a meeting with the public, We're trying to explain our design intent here. Wouldn't that be easy to create something this simple without, you know, having a dedicated department to create this type of animations or high-end renderings, but quickly create the storyboard with captions that we can save out and put on, say, a website that people can use, or also publish with Infraworks, that the public could get a URL and just with a web browser actually take a look at this and provide that feedback. We're seeing that already, like at the City of Vancouver. They're getting a lot of feedback with on proposed new bike trails. But this is the power, and once we have that, we can now take this to many different form factors, as I mentioned earlier, whether it's to the web or to a desktop or to an iPad in the field. We're also starting to work with different manufacturers. This is a very interesting one. It's the OWL, and we started a prototype in San Francisco right by our Market Street office, where they're looking at doing some modifications to Market Street, famous street there in San Francisco, where this is a device that the public could actually go to. It almost looks like the device you go up to the top of the Empire State and put your money in and view around, or Niagara Falls. Here you could actually scan and see the real-life view of Market Street, but then using augmented reality, flip through different design proposals, as you can see there in the center of the screen, that they could vote on and provide feedback to the city what is the preferred restoration. The fourth area is team collaboration. And so if your model is in the cloud, and of course you could still run it on your desktop, but the real power is having it on the cloud, we can start integrating teams. So this is teams at their different locations, different offices, where we can say give permissions to allow them to take the model and generate proposals. So in this case here, we're just doing a very simple example of one proposal that the bridge should be at this intersection, and another person is maybe working on different assets in the model here, but in this case proposing that the bridge be over here. We can look at those proposals and decide which is the right one to use, and then at the end synchronize that into the model itself for others now to take and use that revised model. So that's part of the power here. Having it in the cloud lets you distribute it, collaborate, communicate, and get feedback earlier in the design process. So in summary here, as Steve mentioned and showed an example of the City of Seattle, this is where our customers are really starting to use this product. So I like to say technology is the great equalizer. It helps smaller, mid-sized companies compete against the big guys. But this is, with Infraworks, you can build very dynamic, very realistic presentations like this that you can use for modeling and design.